Smart 24, driving business.
A very good evening. You're most welcome again on Smart 24 TV. This is the business edition. We're going to have a look at the stories that made the headlines in our weekly bulletin. Among the stories we're going to look at is the Minister for Karamoja Affairs apologizing to Ugandans for what she called the mismanagement of iron sheets. More of the stories will be coming up on your way. My name is Edtion Mumbere. Welcome back once again. The business edition starts now. Now we're going to start the alternative budget priorities by government. For the 4 years, government shifted from output to program-based type of budgeting. However, the leader of opposition in the parliament, Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, has poked holes in all these two programs, saying that their implementations have failed because they lack monitoring and evaluation framework. Let's have a look at this very story that was compiled from the parliament of Uganda.
Uganda's upcoming budget is expected to hit 50 trillion shillings, an upgrade from the previous budgets dating back to the 1940s and currently carried on a deficit approach. With the growing external and internal financing, experts and legislators have advised government to consider reforming the budget framework paper, realign budget priorities with development goals, and widen avenues for improving accountability. This is expected to improve budget execution, promote accountability, and ensure effective and inclusive implementation of alternative priorities.
Can we look at reforming the budget process, especially the budget framework paper? I have always found that reviewing the budget framework paper is really a wastage of time. Sectors have just started implementing in June, and the first budget code circular comes immediately, and you expect them to produce a draft budget by December. Not only that, as Parliament and Uganda, you are supposed to debate this budget within 30 days. But also is that these sectors have not even shown you their performance for the last half of the year.
According to Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, leader of opposition, government programs should correspond with the National Development Plan, which outlines the country's development priorities and provides a roadmap for achieving the desired goals. It is therefore essential that government programs are aligned with the plan to ensure effective implementation and execution.
Key sectoral objectives, and we think that is acceptable. But when it came to implementation, we are saying that the government priorities are not actually what they are funding. And that raises questions whether there is sync between NDB3 and the government proposal through the program-based budgeting. Take an example of the propositions for the next financial year, where URA is anticipating to collect 3 trillion extra domestic revenue. We are saying that's a good thing, but can you give us an elaborate study as to where and how you're going to be able to raise that revenue?
Honorable Jessica Bagala, woman MP Mityana District, underscores that a human rights-based approach should be adopted while budgeting to ensure that budgetary allocations are not only guided by financial considerations, but also guided by human rights principles. This approach ensures that resources are directed towards addressing the needs of the most vulnerable and marginalized populations.
The opposition, we are going to advance a human rights approach to budgeting, because we think if you don't think about the rights of Ugandans, then Ugandans may not be able to benefit from the budget. And we've looked at a number of issues. Today we are here to look at it, and we'll give you a final product on 30th of March. As the opposition, we are going to have our own conference, and Ugandans will be able to judge, Ugandans will be able to assess what we would have been able to offer to them. And this is based on their rights.
With the financial 2023-2024 budget framework paper currently drafted, it remains to be seen whether these alternative priorities will be reflected in the final document. Nevertheless, opposition leaders have proposed a human-based approach while preparing the country's spending, sparking an important debate about the country's spending priorities and underscoring the need for transparency and accountability in the budgeting process.
That was the story that was compiled from the parliament. You see, government has been using the two approaches of budgeting for this country. They've been using the output-based and program-based type of budgeting. Now, the leader of opposition is saying all these programs are not fit to budget for Ugandans for they lack evaluation and monitoring framework. We are going to see what they are going to opt to after all these programs have been vanished away. Now we're getting to another story of genetically modified organisms that are still coming in this country, Uganda. Now a section of MPs are going to run a bill to prohibit the importation of GMOs. GMOs are the genetically modified organisms into the country. The GMOs, we still have tomatoes, we still have avocados that are dominating the shelves of supermarkets here in Uganda. But these MPs are saying these GMOs are very dangerous and their importation should stop as early as possible. Let's have a look at this very story. The lawmakers, led by Bufumbira County East Member of Parliament James Nsaba, they intend to reintroduce a bill prohibiting genetically modified organisms, claiming that they pose health and environmental risks. Nsaba criticized some of the Ugandan scientists who are aware of the risks posed by genetically modified organisms, but have chosen to ignore in favor of their own agendas. They made these remarks during a press conference at the Parliament of Uganda.
We have local scientists, local leaders who claim that GMOs is a fantastic idea that will save Africans. They know the truth, but because they are being paid, they are prepared to sacrifice Africans for the sake of whatever they are given. And that is a very, very dangerous internal situation we are facing as Africans.
We also want to put it clear that 97% of the genetically modified organisms are crops that generate novel toxins, or they have a process that they call biochemical accumulation. They accumulate the pesticides that are sprayed on them. And once these crops release these items, they are bound to pollute air, they are bound to pollute water.
The worldwide access to better information on genetically modified organisms is based on the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, which was ratified by the European Union in 2002. The protocol is designed to protect biological diversity and, in turn, human health through advanced informed agreement. According to Honorable Kyle Kristen, the woman member of parliament in Chiboga district, there is a need for Uganda to adhere to these protocols, adding that this bill will prohibit importation, cultivation and consumption of GMOs in the country.
In the bill, we intend to prohibit the transfer, the application, the leasing, the importation, the cultivation, the consumption, and also the utilization of the genetically modified organisms. You will wonder that now I am well known for being a climate change activist and a natural resources activist. What am I doing here? In 2000, Uganda became a party to the Cartagena Protocol, which compels us to safeguard our biological diversity.
But particularly, we need to protect the food systems. The food systems, we need to protect it as much as possible. And you cannot protect the food systems if you still also allow the same material at the GMO to come to the country through other avenues. So, in a nutshell, what am I saying? Anything that promotes GMO in Uganda, we are saying no to it. That's why GMO has to be prohibited.
The Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni declined to sign a controversial genetic engineering regulatory bill into a law citing safety and security concerns. Museveni sent the bill back to the parliament with the new proposed amendments and asked the lawmakers to take a closer look at some other issues.
The bill failed at that time was that demands he was making for those who were behind that GMO bill then were not able to meet those demands because their masters were not accepting, for example, the issue of liability. As we know, if you grow GMO crops here and the other one grows non-GMO, clearly the non-GMO crops will turn into GMO crops eventually because of cross-pollination, those of you who know what it means.
A GMO or genetically modified organism is a plant, animal, microorganism or other organism whose genetic makeup has been modified in a laboratory using genetic engineering or transgenic technology. Critics of biotechnology say it is a selfish technology which goes against the social norms of African farmers who for generations have depended on shared seed, yet this technology is capable of wiping out indigenous seeds. Yeah, that's a story was compiled over there. I saw the minister in Sababuturo and some other ministers from Chiboga district cautioning, talking tough about these GMOs that are still coming in Africa, especially here in Uganda. They're saying these are going to kill, or they're not going, they will make us not to support our locally grown foods here in Uganda. Now, getting to another story here, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, has declared his wealth to the Inspectorate of Government. And now she cautioned the IGG, that's Betty Kame, to make sure that all public servants declare all their wealth as a form of accountability. Let's have a look at this very story that was compiled over there.
Uganda sits among many African nations such as Liberia, Nigeria and the Lord, with a growing corruption index and a larger part of their national budgets dedicated to wages compared to other development allocations. This has in turn raised inquest into the means and wealth of public servants and legislators. The Leadership Code Act of 2002 sets tone for public servants to declare income, assets and liabilities to the Inspector General of Government in a bid to fight corruption. The Deputy Inspector General of Government has echoed such need usually within 3 months of assuming office.
And for breach of the code, failure to submit correct information is punishable within the law, within Section 6 of the Leadership Code. Where we see that there is conflict of interest, still again it is punishable within the law. Failure to declare interest, there are some people who have interests and they do not declare, that is provided for within Section 9. And then also acceptance of prohibited gifts and failure to declare the same to the IG. There are times when leaders do receive gifts of a certain value, and if it is beyond 5 currency points, we expect that that leader should walk in the light and come to the Inspectorate of Government.
The Office of the IGG has also received the Speaker's declaration, which was demonstrated before press in her boardroom.
I have done it. Be safe.
Speaker Anita Mong has instantly cautioned fellow leaders to embrace the activity for transparency because they are duty-bound to make the public know of their leaders' wealth status.
It's a very crucial thing that we must always be accountable to the people who gave us these jobs, and we must be transparent. I don't see why people should continue hiding whatever they have in other people's name. If I have a property which is in my name, it is mine, and if I can account for where it came from, I should be able to do that. The quest of accountability is very, very important.
The Speaker has also advised the Office of the IGG to simplify the wealth declaration process, believed to frustrate those willing to declare and find themselves in the bad books.
People who want to declare, in most cases you find the system is down. The system is down, somebody cannot, it will remain hanging for almost a whole week. So you need to make sure that the system is always updated, it is always working, because so many people try to declare. And you find most people get frustrated because they cannot declare because of the system.
According to the Deputy IGG, 34,000 declarations are expected before 31st of March. However, funding has often irritated and hindered the process. Meanwhile, at least 45 leaders in breach of the law have been booked and that their cases are before the Leadership Code Tribunal Court.
So when doing verifications, the challenges we have are resource related, because verifications need the technical people to go down on the ground to ascertain whether these declarations are truthful or not truthful. So this is where we require a lot more funding. Last calendar year, we did verifications of about 250. We had to cluster the leaders and say, well, we are now going to take accounting officers or heads of institutions, of ministries, departments, and agencies.
That's all about wealth declaration over there, and every public servant has to do this, and this is a mechanism to fighting corruption among the government workers. Now, getting to another story here, we're seeing Afro-Arab Youth Empowerment Scheme is back in the country to make sure that they eradicate poverty among the youth. Our reporter was on ground to cover all this information, and let us see all what he had to cover for us.
Uganda features the world's most youth population with 78% of the nation's total population. However, it has recorded a youth unemployment rate of 4.33% within the last 4 years. Hence the need to address the gross youth unemployment through multi-skilling that is being made possible by the Afro-Arab Youth Empowerment Initiative. The Afro-Arab Youth Empowerment Initiative encompasses programs like the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, which provides young people with the training and mentorship in entrepreneurship. Through this program, young people learn how to start and run successful businesses. It will help them improve their economic prospects by equipping them with the skills, knowledge and resources they need to become economically viable.
ولهذا أهم رسالة لنا هي رسالة السلام ورسالة التنمية ورسالة الاهتمام بالشباب.
So the key idea is to promote peace and development for youth.
إضافة أخيرة أنا أيضا مرشح للانتخابات الرئاسية في ليبيا.
And I want to share with you that I'm running to the presidency of Libya.
طبعا هذا الأمر مش سهل.
This is really not a simple thing.
ولكن هو تحدي مهم وكبير.
It's a challenge. It's a big challenge.
ولكن اللي نحب نقوله أني أنا شخصية أفريقية ومؤمن بأفريقيا وأحب أفريقيا.
But what I want to share with you that I'm a Pan-African person and I love Africa and I want to contribute to the development of Africa.
ونريد أفريقيا أن تودع الحروب والنزاعات وتتفرغ لمعركة التنمية ومعركة صناعة الإنسان ومعركة التقدم.
And we want for Africa to leave conflict and wars and come forward to the development.
The Afro-Arab Youth Council also offers training in various other areas such as financial literacy, marketing and networking. This training equips young people with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in the business world. The organization also provides financial support to young entrepreneurs to help them establish and grow their businesses.
About 3 universities. Azhar University is one of them in Egypt, the other 2 universities in Morocco. For scholarly opportunities, scholarship opportunities that they can be coordinated through Afro-Arab Youth Council. If we secured 100 scholarships and we have shared them with other countries and the host country of the secretariat takes like 40, your young person from China Mukaka will compete for the 40 or 20 or whichever that will be left and then see that something comes through.
That Minister for Kampala's capital city, Honorable Chofo Chagarie Kabuye, has revealed some of the benefits that the youth are likely to get through this youth integration that will provide an enabling environment for enhanced skills development and subsequent breakthrough in the job market.
We are widening the market, we are opening up the scope, education arenas all over the world. So once we increase and we expand on our integration, of course the youth will economically will benefit.
The $100 million project, according to the information, is going to skilling the youth and to make sure that they get skills so that they become self-employed than looking for jobs over there. Now, getting to another story, like I said, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs apologized to Ugandans and the entire Karamojans for mismanagement of the iron sheets that were meant for vulnerable people over there in the Karamoja region. She had information that she talked about, but let's have all this information from our reporter who covered the parliament that very day. Let's have a look.
Allowed.
Social distance.
So we can give us a space.
After failing to respond to the questions posed to her on Wednesday, Minister Mary Goreti Chitutu has surprised the Committee on Presidential Affairs with a statement apologizing to the country and the committee indicating that she was not guided properly by her technical team.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable colleagues, members of the committee, this statement is being made in my capacity as Minister for Karamoja Affairs on the matter of iron sheets procured under my ministry. Without proper guidance, some iron sheets meant for Karamoja region were given outside the region in response to requests. This could have been an oversight, but now that guidance has been given, this will not recur. Any inconveniences and embarrassments caused is highly regretted.
Chitutu says it's true she gave out the iron sheets to areas which were not meant to receive, and therefore she asked to be forgiven.
I will also present a separate statement to His Excellency the President and the entire executive. My commitment to serving Uganda as a whole, and the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs in particular, is unwavering. Honorable Chairperson and honorable colleagues, I pray that and all Ugandans accept my sincere apology. I thank you.
However, members were concerned on the criteria the minister used to disperse iron sheets meant for Karamoja to other regions, and yet those regions had not requested for them.
First of all, we need detailed information from the minister on who received iron sheets, how many did each one of them receive, and then she respond to the question that we raise before she tender in our apology. Apology for what at this material time?
The Honorable Minister is a senior minister and has served in many capacities before the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs. When she says she distributed without proper guidance, from whom does she want to get guidance for this particular supplementary budget or for the issue of iron sheets? And where has she been getting other guidance before in the previous ministry?
Honorable Minister, we request that you go ahead, make a detailed write-up on how the iron sheets got mismanaged, because as you have mentioned about requests being made, we need also to look at all the requests being made, because many of the beneficiaries have declared that one, they did not request, two, some said even they are ready to return the iron sheet.
At first, Minister Chitutu had resisted taking an oath, insisting that everything she was saying was the whole truth. She did, however, take the oath after much pushing from the committee.
I, Chitutu Mary Goreti Kimono, do solemnly swear that evidence I shall give touching the matter before the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs shall be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, that's the story that has been making headlines, mismanagement of Karamoja iron sheets. You've seen all the ministers from the Karamoja region lamenting over what they call the mismanagement of their funds. Now, all this being said, we'll be going in for a short commercial break, and when I come back, more of the stories will be coming up on your way. Stay around.
Smart 24, Driving Business.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange, anti yo TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabote deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best movies I teach you. When I go to which Muscari, because of the cover that is very far. Is you serious? It's just you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. You buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, wait. Jerry card.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
Smart 24, Driving Business.
Welcome back from that commercial break. The business edition is still continuing over here. Now we're going to look at 140 women who are engaging in recycling and waste plastic collection. Remember, they are collecting all these plastics and make bags out of them, and this is how they are making bags out of them. Let us see how these women are making money out of this.
Women are engaged in sorting out plastic waste, baling plastic waste, selling plastic waste, but also reusing plastic waste in form of making, assorted items that are being sold out markets, for instance, kitchen vegetable gardens, flower.
With an estimated 600 tons of plastic volume produced daily and about 51% left uncollected, a critical environment red flag for Kampala stands out. Just like Nairobi and Dar es Salaam, Uganda's capital is choking on municipal solid waste with the existing address mechanisms, such as landfills currently constrained. Humanitarian organizations have in response devised means to curb such challenges, involving women as vulnerable group to exploit opportunities availed therein.
In our activity engagements, we look majorly at how do we empower women as a vulnerable, left-out segment of community through giving them skills, through building their capacity so as to stand, to be self-reliant, in one way, but secondly, to be productive community members.
Uganda's Climate Change Commission understands well the challenge ahead proposed by the growing pollution load towards climate change, just as deliberations on climate financing were presented at the previously concluded Climate Forum.
Uganda will continue pursuing mitigation pathway in the updated NDC and explore ways of mobilizing support to meet our mitigation measures. Uganda's NDC costs about US dollars 28.1 billion, and that is quite big, so we really need to do a lot of resource mobilization.
The growing Green Job Initiative by humanitarian organizations has empowered individual community members to actively engage in the plastic waste market, offering dual benefits for environmental management and employment.
We get the plastic bottles. We make dust bins, whereby the dust bins are, instead of endangering our environment, we use the dust bins. We use, the bottles to make the dust bins to collect rubbish.
Despite the existence of environmental management and protection policies, for instance on waste and wetland management by agencies such as NEMA and numerous drafted penalties for breach of laws, stakeholders believe there is still great need to address compliance.
That we have quite a number of good policies, good laws, bylaws, but at the implementation they are never there. That you realize, for instance, in this activity of plastic waste recycling, we still lack a lot in as far as waste disposal is concerned.
Close to 4,000 tons of waste is believed to be nationally disposed, and just about 1,502, representing 33%, is collected and properly disposed. The rest lags in community drainage channels and water bodies, activating the drive for investment in upcycling and green jobs.
Yeah, so this is about recycling and waste plastic collection. You see, it's a one way of conserving environment, but when you're also earning out of it, and this is how these women are earning money. Even some plastics have been used for putting up buildings, beautiful buildings here in Uganda. So this is a better initiative if people can embark on that. Now we're going to speak the agriculture in Uganda. Remember, agriculture sector contributes big to the GDP of this country, over 70%. Now I saw Minister for Kimanya County in Masaka District, Honorable Abedi Wanika, trying to call upon government to make sure that they add funding in the agricultural sector, for it contributes big to the GDP of this country. Let's have a look at this very story.
The recent budget allocation increments for the agricultural sector from 1.44 trillion to 1.49 trillion in 2023-2024 budget framework paper is a positive development towards promoting local economic development in rural areas through implementing the parish development model. However, considering the critical role that agriculture plays in the growth and development of Uganda's economy, there is a growing concern on the need to increase funding to this sector.
I think it's a priority. Now we are only getting the priority in the priorities. Research is a priority. We have issues with soil fertility. We cannot move forward unless the farmers are helped to test and know which nutrients they need in the soil. That is very key. Extension is a priority, but we are getting priorities from priority. Extension is definitely a priority. There is no doubt about that.
Government should support farmers by ensuring that they have access to high-quality input like seeds and fertilizers, and by educating them on the more effective farming methods in order to raise agriculture production and encourage value addition. This can support food security, boost farmer incomes, and lay the groundwork for rural areas to experience economic growth.
The one thing which is needed for production is water. So if there's any budget which is supposed to help this country and help the majority of the people, that budget must go towards the water for production. Then finally is the issue of quality, which goes hand in hand with the issue of marketing. If we have very poor quality, that means marketing is going to be a big problem to us.
Despite the competing demands from other industries, financing for natural resource management in agriculture is frequently insufficient. For agriculture to experience sustainable and equitable growth, government and donors should give natural resource management funding first priority.
And also natural resource management. This is where most money is eaten or stolen. These natural resources belong to the entire community in Uganda. God gave us these natural resources. For example, the lakes. We have Lake Victoria. There is one item that is very expensive from the lakes, leave alone the fish fillet and so on, but there is something called the fish maul from the Nile Patch. It is only in Uganda and Lake Victoria.
The development of rural areas and economic expansion can greatly be significant, impacted by the investment in agriculture. It can enhance livelihood and lessen poverty in rural regions by boosting agricultural output, offering job opportunities, and promoting environmental stability. To ensure inclusive and sustainable growth, government should invest in agriculture and rural development top priority.
That's the agricultural sector over there, and you've seen very many stakeholders trying to echo more information about funding going to agricultural sector here in Uganda. Now getting to another story here. Smart 24 TV caught up with a 62-year-old Twesije Mukama Goreti, a resident of Kiora in Kabale district, who has worked in the stone quarrying for over 26 years, trying to forge life for sustainability. Now, we have more of these stories that have been made in that very same stone quarrying in Kabale. Let's have a look at this very old woman and see what he had to tell us.
At Chiora Stone Quarry in Northern Division, Kabale Municipality along Kabale Lake Bunyonyi, over 100 women are enrolled in stone quarrying, a hard labor job mainly dominated by men and crucial to the growing construction industry. 62-year-old Twesije Mukama Goreti, a resident of Chiora, has worked in the stone quarry for 26 years, forging means for self-sustainability.
Here I am at this stone quarry, spending some money to get food and school fees for my children. We don't have where to dig because the soil is uneven. You can see by the look of it, it's only trees around this area.
Twesije confirms that stone quarrying is the only known principal income activity in the area at the backdrop of challenges such as land infertility and shortage in Kabale district.
We really face some challenges when we don't have contracts. That means we don't get to have
Jinda Tukamushava, a mother of 3 and resident of Nyavikoni Ward in Kabale Municipality, calls upon government to support the community through capital extension and still transform the industry too, as well as pool tourism.
We see tourists coming to Lake Bunyonyi almost on a daily, so we are requesting that this quarry could be made a tourist site so that we could earn from it as well.
The Kabale District Vice Chairperson Miria Tugumia Kankwasa expressed joy as they join other countries to celebrate Women's Day, but still advocating for the need to involve women in the digital era. She promised to lobby for funds and equipment for women in the quarry from the government.
Tuyina bachara abajedeze okukora kuruga enyima bakekozesa ebintu byo twaturamaye ngo ne byabashija kusha
Women in Chiora have done a tremendous job to involve themselves in activities which many thought was for men. This helped these women to provide for their family.
Aregura amabare arakura amabare oshanga ari kuhonda kandi atunge mentunguka ayama kasete ahera abana babo.
Today, national celebrations were held at Karo Secondary School, Chirhura District, highlighting inclusive technology and innovation for women amidst employment challenges that largely strike the informal sector.
That's Madame Tresije Goreti from Kabale, who has been working in this stone quarrying close to 26 years, and this is how she's earning. Let's pray for her. Maybe better will come to her life one time. And I will be going in for a short commercial break. When I come back, more of the stories will be coming up. This is the Business Edition.
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that commercial break. The business edition still continues. Now we're going to speak the insurance week that happened last week. We have had experts from the insurance sector saying that this insurance week, they're making sure that insurance sector, all the insurance practices are penetrating into the Ugandan sectors, and very many Ugandans trying to enhance this, or trying to jump to this insurance sector, and making sure that very many Ugandans partake in these particular programs. Let's have a look at this very story that was compiled by Rona Nahawe.
Employment data indicates a bigger portion of Uganda's labor force stressed in the informal sector as compared to the 15.64 million Ugandans in the middle class band. The growing border industry contributes well to the informal job market and economy, providing alternative transport means. Despite the risks involved as theft and damage to motorcycles, accidents and others, risk is largely unpopular and insurance penetration still drags.
As Pax Insurance, our drive is basically to increase the penetration numbers. If you realize around East Africa, when you look at the insurance penetration, we are as below as 1%. So doing such kind of campaigns helps us to push the message of insurance out there and to tell people we are actually not looking for the elite, but rather we are looking for all the people from all the demography around Uganda. So the message is buy insurance and you'll be protected along the way.
I tell you that when you have a border, it is not only motor third party which is important. You can buy a comprehensive for the border itself. You can buy a public liability or a GPA, group person accident for yourself, or a workers' compensation policy for yourself. You can buy also an enhanced third party, such that when you are involved in an accident, your family can be catered for, the family of those who have been injured can be catered for, and even the border can be replaced.
According to industry experts, the low insurance uptake in the border sector partly responds to informal nature of the industry and misconception on insurance claims and operations. Still, language barrier has been highlighted as a setback, limiting communication between potential clients and market players.
Many of our colleagues still face problems even though they have insurance. The insurance was not helpful. We urge you to bring your services closer to our people, and also your officers used to much English. Yet they are dealing with the informal sector, and we have a lot of local languages. This limits our understanding, hence low or no insurance growth.
Increasing over time at a rate not less than 20%. That is not a mean percentage growth, and I want to say as the insurance players we are indeed happy with the percentage. We have seen that the number of insurance policies sold have increased at a rate of 50%, which means that very many people are buying. Even if the policies are small, they are buying many more policies. We have also seen that the products or the people who used not to know about insurance, now you can go to them and they know about insurance. The border guys, the people in the markets.
At the end of 2021, the insurance sector registered a 10.61% growth, amounting to 1.2 trillion shillings. To this, the public has been coy about the efficacy of the industry, illustrating worry over costs much the contrary of the sector players that front product quality.
Is not always great, right? So you need to have the right product for your right needs, and our prices are competitive to the market. They're quite competitive. And we are largely into group space as of now, group life, credit life, health and medical space, and we are coming up with a slew of products in the individual space also.
As market penetration still drags just below 1%, with informal sector players, for instance, in the transport industry still detached, literacy and awareness is believed to eventually help offset some of these challenges.
Yeah, that's all about the Insurance Week and making sure that Ugandans take on insurance as far as possible. Now we are going to look at the Bank of Uganda, which disbursed over 751 billion to the agriculture credit facility to make sure that it enhances agriculture and some other business people who are engaging in agriculture. However, according to information coming from the Bank of Uganda, people have not taken up this money in form of loan because of collateral requirements which they have failed to meet. Let's have a look at the story that was compiled over there.
Following the distress caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, government established a small business recovery fund in 2021. Through the central bank, in conjunction with participating financial institutions, liquidity has been availed for agricultural enterprises. According to the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Michael Ating Ego, 751 billion has so far been disbursed under the agricultural credit facility. Uptake of the fund is, however, still low due to strict collateral requirements.
So, despite the scheme's success, it has not yet reached its full potential due to several challenges. This includes the fact that some participating financial institutions have a non-participation and low uptake. So I want to hear from you, why is the uptake low?
More limitations have been manifested in the eligibility criteria, where annual sales and assets turnover vested in the 10 to 100 million has found to be restrictive, and the non-performing loans accrued due to COVID-19. In consideration of the mutual covenants and subject to the terms and conditions, parties here too agreed to amend the Memorandum of Understanding, and the Bank of Uganda shall issue guidelines to clarify on fund utilization to refinance existing loans borrowers may have with commercial banks, and that the fund can be accessed without collateral.
Well, you know that conventionally, banks, for you to access, you have to have a collateral, you have a land title. How many people have land titles? Even those who can afford to pay for that land title. It takes it's a tedious process. But the smallholder people don't have access to land titles, and so it becomes a challenge for them to access. If you don't have a land title, then you must have a building that you can pledge as collateral, or an asset that you can pledge as collateral. Now, those normally are things that can be able to be accessed by the medium to large scale.
We need to up the uptake of this. So you then recall that in March last year, to be specific, on 3rd of March 2022, as a result, the Bank of Uganda issued a circular communicating these changes, which have been neatly summarized by Richard, the Executive Director of Finance.
From such challenges, amendments to ease the uptake and progress of the facility among small businesses have been registered, revising minimum employment level from 5 to 2 persons maximum, and annual turnover from 100 to 300 million, and maximum loan amount from 100 to 200 million. The maximum loan amount shall be 200 million, among others.
Yeah, so that's the stories that came from the Bank of Uganda. This money is there, over 751 billion is there to be loaned to these people who are engaging in agriculture. But people are not taking up this money just because of too much collateral. People don't have land, people don't have anything to put up as defense, which is a very big problem. Let's hope Bank of Uganda will come up with other requirements to make sure that people can take up this money to go and enhance agriculture over there. And I will be coming up to the end of the business edition. Make sure you get to us again next Sunday on the same program. This is the business edition. Bye-bye.
2024 Driving Business.
Luxury redefined at Seasand Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving you a choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasand Hotel, so visit today at Plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasand Hotels, luxury redefined.